What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to give you guys a quick update on Tesla, SPY, and Nvidia in the overall markets. I'm going to break down what to watch for as time goes on during the pre-market session and what's going on with the news that's coming out. But just notes that I am not a financial planner, so make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. So as of right now, the market is attempting to push a little bit higher, but we're seeing some tech stocks showing some weakness simultaneously. So we have kind of like a mixed market right now, but we're going to be watching some very, very tough resistance levels that are very important. So I'll be breaking down more information about that in just the next couple of minutes. Just note that today is Monday, August 26, 2024. At 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index report, which is very minor, not to mention the bill auctions at 11:30 a.m. So look for some volatility at these times. We'll see how this affects the markets. Besides that, there's been a lot of news coming out involving the whole Israel and Hezbollah/Iran situation. Yes, tensions are still up there, but as of right now, it's not like an actual all-out war or anything like that. So far, it's been averted. So yes, it's still possible tensions could continue to rise. There could still be attacks on both sides that happen, but just notes that we're still waiting to see any news about negotiations, some kind of like ceasefire or anything like that. So we'll see how things go. Thus far, it's not really affecting the market or causing a big dip or anything like that. So as of right now, we're not really worried about that. And we're going to be watching to see how the market responds despite this. And I'll be giving you guys any more updates on if there's any news about a ceasefire or if anything else like that happens. So there could be more violence that continues, of course, but we're going to be patient for now, and the market is still holding up decently despite this news. On top of this, when it comes to earnings, we have very minor earnings today, like Trip.com, nothing too crazy. But just note that for Wednesday, we have Nvidia announcing its earnings. That's going to be a big one. Can't wait to see what they announce. For a couple of things about the market before it opens, don't forget that on Friday we had Jerome Powell giving a speech, and there's still momentum remaining from that. I'm noticing that tech is showing a little bit of weakness compared to other sectors, and we're still seeing the S&P 500 holding up as a result of this. Besides that, I didn't see any other major pieces of news, at least for the markets. So now let's just focus on the charts. So for SPY, we're trying to hold above 563. If we continue this push, I think we could be heading very close to 565 or just under that. So we do have a lot of potential to push all the way up there. If we lose 563, we're going to be looking for 562 as support, followed by 560 and then 558. Now, overall, we are looking a little more bullish on SPY, especially on the 4-hour time frame. So this is favoring upside a little bit more, but we'll see if we hold up here. Now, I think this may attempt to get close to 565. We'll see if that breaks. If we do break, then I'll be looking for 566 and such. But just notes that as far as the market goes, we're just holding up very, very well. And we'll just see if we could break resistance. I know it's going to be kind of tough. The last time SPY hit 565, it did get this big rejection. So we'll see. We're hitting some very, very tough resistance, but as of right now, the chart remains bullish, and we'll see if we could break 563 and eventually 565. We are at a tough level, so we'll see how it goes, but just note that that's going to be very important for now, those two resistance levels. As far as ES goes, I just want to mention that futures are also looking more bullish. We'll see if we can hold above 56.50. If we do hold above that, 56.80 will be our target next to 5700. If we don't hold 56.50, we could be looking for support at 56.30, followed by the 5600 flat area. As of right now, the chart is a little bit more bullish, especially when you look at the 4-hour PPO. So it is favoring that it wants to go up to 56.80 and try to push it a little bit. So we'll see if we can try to break that resistance or not. But for now, that's going to be our key level. As far as Nvidia goes, we pushed a bit towards the 130 area. If we break 130, look for 132, then 135. And our support is going to be down here at 126 if we can't break and hold above 130. So we have a minor support at 128 and stronger support at 126. This is our 20 EMA. We're in a range on Nvidia so far, so we'll see if we can break 132 and remain bullish. If not, we're going to just continue to range trade. As of right now, it's kind of struggling to break 130. We'll see if it breaks or not. So I'll be watching that very carefully. We're at some tough resistance on Nvidia, so give it some time and see what the reaction happens to be like. For Bitcoin, we have a double top leg structure showing a little bit of weakness. We have 65,000 that was touched before we came back down. I did predict that yesterday. 65,000 was our target. Our support's at 63,500. So we'll see if we could hold this support. That's going to be our support. And then our resistance happens to be at 65,000. So we might just continue to shuffle between these levels, and whichever way we break will determine a bigger move. If we lose the 63,500 area, look for a dip to 62,000. Otherwise, we're just range bound. For Tesla, we pushed very, very nicely to resistance at 221, only to come a little bit short. We hit this 220 area. Um, to be bullish, you want to break past 222 and try to break this yellow trend line to really start pushing for 225 and 228. And if we're bearish, you want to see us lose this white trend line right here. So the white trend line you see is what was holding us up for the last couple of weeks. We bounced off this 1, 2, 3 times. So we're going to be likely testing that. We could be dipping close to about 217, and we'll see how Tesla responds to that. Are we going to hold 217 and try to consolidate, or do we lose this and start dipping for 215 and then 212? Look for a little dip on Tesla, and we'll see what the move is as we start to consolidate. So I'll be watching that very, very carefully. For NQ, we have resistance right here around 19,800 and 20,000. And we have our key support around this 19,600 area, followed by lower levels. We had this high here. We came down, made a lower high. So we'll have to see what the reaction happens to be. And I just want to make it very clear that we're just kind of stuck in the middle, kind of going back and forth and back and forth. So I think that NQ, if we establish a lower high compared to 20,000, there's going to be a risk of this dipping all the way down to the mid 19,000s. If we break 20,000, we could continue higher. I suspect that it might be establishing a lower high. It's kind of struggling to break resistance, and that could slow things down. Same thing with the QQQ. Notice that this is struggling, in my opinion, compared to like SPY. It's not as strong looking. We need to break past 480 and 482 to turn back up to the high. Otherwise, we're at risk of dipping to 478, if not 475. So if we don't hold above 480, we're at risk of dipping. And if we do hold above it, we could try to push. I'm seeing a little bit of weakness on the QQQ. We might consolidate, but the reason why it's a little bit weaker is because of tech. So for Aapl, we're just range bound between 228 and 226. We might just continue to consolidate. Not really doing much thus far. We'll see if we can break 228 to hit 230. For the IWM Russell 2000, we had 222, the resistance I had drawn out right here. It's actually just under 223. If that breaks, we're looking at 224. We had this big range right here, a lot of consolidation. We did like to reject there, so it's going to be a tough area. So it is possible the Russell pushes a bit more, but then watch this consolidation range between 220 and basically 224. We may consolidate in that range, and if we don't hold 220, we're dipping back down to essentially 217. So be careful, guys. We'll see if 220 holds. We're in a consolidation zone. For Coinbase, we pushed up towards 212. If we break that, we're going back up to 216. If we don't break that, we're going to be dipping likely back down to 208. So watch this 212 area. Do we break it or not? For Amazon, we're looking a little bit weaker, but we haven't lost key support yet. We're looking at 175 as support. And if that fails us, we're going down to 172. If we break past 177, we're going to be looking for a push. I see a little bit of weakness building here, so there's that risk for Amazon if we lose 175. So it's a little bit weaker looking. Meta is range bound. If we break 530, look for a push for 534. If we lose 522, we're going to be dipping to at least 516, which is where this imbalance is. We're stuck in the middle between 522 and 530, whichever way we break determines a bigger move. So we're just consolidating in that range for now. Microsoft isn't stuck in the middle. We are failing to break past 418 to turn bullish. Our support is currently at 414. Whichever way we break will determine a bigger move as well. But I'm seeing some weakness developing and a risk of downside for the 410 area. Google's trying to hold above this, but we haven't closed on this candle yet, so we can't turn too bullish quite yet. If we break above 168, we could be pushing for 170. If we don't hold above this channel, we're at risk of dipping all the way down towards the mid 160s. So you want to be very careful. With that being said, guys, make sure you watch your levels very carefully. We'll see what kind of reactions we get. And just note that the market's approaching some tough resistance. The QQQ and tech are looking a little bit weaker than the S&P 500, but just know that we're going to be hitting some tough resistance. We do have potential to push more on the S&P 500 SPY chart, but the QQQ is looking a little bit weaker to me this morning. Thank you for listening. I'll see you guys very soon in just a couple of hours, and peace out.